For the way that Team Falcons does end up playing a lot of the time, it kind of allows them to play aggressively without positioning
room, and was like, it was a mess in the landing. But Team Nightmare right now are focusing on the gold after they have secured the gold. So do you think that
Bruno, the Brody, Carry, and the Claude, so whatever they get right here won't be able to output as much damage, so they have to try and find a way around that. Yeah, Nightmare looks like they want to push the Beatrix back into the Land of Dawn, and that's exactly what Team Falcons are going to do here. It is Lotric's comfort pick, so even if Nightmare seems to be pushing the draft in that direction, the Team Falcons feels confident enough that it'll still work out, and considering the amount of run line they have here, it should. It's got to make sure that Join doesn't get an easy pass into that back line. Nightmare now going to be looking for his remaining two heroes. Baxia coming out right here. Your thoughts? Baxia without an Angela is still effective, and it's, more importantly, it's fast. Right? You two were talking about how fast the rotation was from Nightmare Esports. With the Baxia, it's only going to get faster. With the Lilia in the mid lane, it's only going to mean that the mid wave is going to get cleared even faster as well. Now for the roam though, actually they want some card control to really follow up. It's going to be a Kufra. Can be used to stop, and in a way, technically, if you have the top boots, the boots that reduce the card control, you can really cancel out the hook as well. And for Falcons, they're going to go with that Archive.
Well, in terms of leg picks and maybe, as we say, Joker picks somehow, Baxia and Joy might be switched around. So some of them can go for the XP and some might go for that jungle. But I think that the jungle has been settled, and we will see an Archive by Neo. And it is comes to big after all.
What I can tell from both these drafts is that these are hero compositions designed to just straight up brawl. These teams understand that they want to meet each other head to head in the battle, and that's exactly what we're going to get with a lot of utility, a good amount of front line, as well as all the crowd control you could ever need in the hands of these players. What I'm expecting is going to be a bloody Game 3 between Team Falcons and Nightmare Esports. The Land of Dawn beckons once again. How will this intense series conclude between two worthy opponents?
It's almost like it's a battle of the front lines, man. The Baxia being tanky, but so is the Terizla. Whoever gets picked up first, this is going to be a race. Can you out the target that you're trying to pick off before his team can counter-engage on you? Because for both teams, that's a very possible option. But Super now, already with a very promising Iron Hook.
Yeah, as I told you, Team Falcons, it seems like we have seen Franco so many times, Team Falcons, in the Infinite Eye, but not with Super, it was with Maru. And here we can see him with Super, and it is doing really good, but it was also really good in Jasmine, first skill, and Goodnight to pursue his Flicker.
Goodnight has to be a little bit more careful here. He's positioning aggressively, which is good, but at this stage, there's no way he's going to be able to compete against a Lilia and Kufra at level 2. Team Falcons slow it down, make sure they don't get punished for their aggression like we saw previously.
Well, for now, look, keep your eyes on the mid lane, because with an agility and a wilderness blessing, it's all about that roam. The Kufra, from the side of Nightmare Esports, going with the firmness for an extra bit of tankiness here, whereas for the Franco, it's of course the focusing mark, make sure that he can get all those pickoffs. But that's not the problem, man. If he lands a big Iron Hook, a big bloody hunt, who exactly is supposed to finish off the target? Beatrix comes to mind, but that's a bit later with some items. Before that, the best they can use is the Valentina, and especially if they hook the Baxia or the Kufra, I don't think the Valentina has enough in the early game at least.
Yeah, that early to mid-game burst is going to be lacking for the side of Team Falcons. They have a lot of setup, but if they don't have enough damage to follow up on it, we're going to see some similar issues we've seen in the wildcard so far. I think probably the best choice would be to steal like the Electrifying Beast maybe, and that would be close. But it's still hard to say whether it truly would be enough. For now, though, the turtle is going to be contested.
Yeah, the turtle was brought to you like a while ago with a camera by ROG, but here we can bring to you the fight. Jasmine's trying to take a little risk, but he's not still in a really big trouble if he goes in. He does go in, he commits to that, and he's now trying to push away a guy, but of course, to continue with that fair game play, we have to go for a technical spot.
Real quick there, I saw Lautry graze his hand, so you have to wonder what exactly is going on. Man, a pause in the middle of such an internal fight. This could make or break the whole engagement. You really have to feel for these players.
Yeah, this is one of the worst times to have to encounter a pause here for both these teams, because no matter how good you are at the game, it's always going to take a moment for you to reorient yourself once the game gets going again. And in a situation as high octane as this, the first hurdle of the game, who knows what could happen?
Well, as you can see in the camera, maybe something's happening on Falcon's side. Yeah, it is on Falcon's side, because I can see Leo's so weird. He's looking back and forth at Hulk's phone, and I don't know. That fight, that was actually a potentially good kill for Team Falcons on the Cupra, maybe also a turtle, but I don't know. Was the jungler was even there?
I think the junglers were involved as well. The Cupra, though, initially missed the engagement between two players. It's very unfortunate. But there it is, ladies and gentlemen, at home and in the arena. It's important for us to make sure that sportsmanship is protected and maintained at all costs. Even though we're going to be waiting for a little bit, we're going to make sure that the games go without anything, impacting the whole game.
Because in the end, what is going to be at stake here are the lives of these players. Their one opportunity to make it to the M5 stage, the biggest MLBB tournament in the world for the year. So if they are encountering some issues, we gotta make sure that those issues are ironed out as fast as possible. Again, we're very grateful for all of you watching at home for being patient with us. We gotta make sure that everything is all good. And right now for Team Falcons, they are in the better position, but I'm a little bit worried because I did see the Joy in the top lane. She's gonna be coming in from the back side here. I'm not sure if that angle is protected.
Look at the players from Nightmare Esports. They also seem to be in the right state of mind right here. Plus Falcons, they both seem quite confident with back into the action. We believe, I think Falcons will be able to pick up and punish that failed engagement. But afterwards, that's the main problem. What can they do? With an Akai available for Team Falcons, I think they will definitely secure the turtle. At least on paper, right? We'll have to see if Nightmare Esports can try and find something that really works here.
Well, for Team Falcons, I cannot actually separate whether it was focusing or the expressions was I am focused, or was it stress? Because they just came from a loss. So I don't know if Team Falcons actually have it together after that. So will it be look at the pace of the players? I think it's mostly focused, but there is some nervousness on the stage between Team Falcons members, right?
Yeah, they definitely look a little bit disgruntled, and perhaps, honestly, I think we can all recognize that did affect their gameplay somewhat in game number 2. I'm hoping they'll be able to pull themselves back together, but has this happened to Team Falcons before?
To be nervous?
Kind of not so good state of mind during the game.
Well, at Mina, or generally, even at the MPLI, Team Falcons either go all the way in, or once they struggle or let's say stumble, it's a little bit hard for them to come back up.
So the recovery time is a bit concerning here, especially for you. I mean, Yasu, this is your boys, bro. You gotta be very concerned right here. It's looking good for them by all means, but again, the mental component in this game, in a tournament this big, can't be understated, man. Sometimes that mental state alone can make or break a game. So I think both teams have to really focus up right here. Try and, fan the spirit of competition, for lack of a better term, right? Make sure that they're keeping their heads in the game and, making sure that they stay focused.
It's one of these things, right? difficult to say. People will look on the outside and think, oh, you're just playing a game, there should be no problem, you shouldn't be tired, but all of us MLBB gamers, we know very well just how exhausting it can be, especially more so for these teams up on stage right now. So make sure you guys share your words of support in the comments. Make sure they're able to reach the teams and give them the energy they need.
Well, maybe it's not a physical game, but it is indeed a mental game. So they are now mentally challenged. They are now mentally stressed, nervous, maybe focused, maybe like a lot of mixed feelings can be on that stage. So do not underestimate how much pressure it is to have on a player. I'm not gonna say just Falcons. He has used his flicker away. Good night. Goes back, and Team Nightmares are enough with what they have.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried here. Team Falcons does seem to be jumping the gun just a little bit. The fact that they only lost by that overdrive might be good, but here comes Nightmare again.
Oh, Nightmare's going in, and look at, there's a suppression happening on for Super. Too easy for Lexi, is now too hard to escape, but he is away. It is not too hard for too easy to escape. He is still alive.
Literally too easy for Lexi, but now the turtle could be open for Team Falcons. We'll see whether or not they're able to secure it. Most likely the answer is yes, and yep, that's going to happen here. Anyway, do they actually want to take this fight? I don't think it's a good idea.
I don't think so, because there's no use out of this fight, right?
Yeah, not really at this point. Just Juliana trying to be as aggressive as possible, trying to get something in exchange for the failure to get that turtle. Well, for now though, Team Falcons are still in the lead by all means. But that's the strategy, like we saw earlier. We've mentioned this. They can go and lock someone down, but who exactly is doing the damage? Lodge used the Bennett's Rage earlier, but I'm not sure if it actually landed. It might have been slightly off, which allows too easy for Lexi to get out of there. It's definitely unfortunate, but if you look at the levels though, Leo and too easy for Lexi, they're like competing.
Yeah, it is almost equal in terms of everything, and here we have Leo having too easy for Lexi. He's flicker from you, Jasmine. Jasmine takes down everything. Of course, the kills are for you, Kami, but the maestro behind that, the mastermind, Jasmine, goes in. Flicker ultimate first kill, and everything goes down in fast.
Jasmine literally just crushed the dreams of Team Falcon in one fell swoop. What looked like an amazing engagement and free kill on Too Easy for Lexi resulted in a two-man Tyrant's Rage catch and the loss of their marksman once again. Nightmare Esports, I don't know what happened, but they do seem to be online.
Man, mechanical outplay after mechanical outplay. But now, look at who's raising their hands, man. It's the side of Nightmare Esports. Fortunately, it didn't happen in the middle of a big engagement. After such a big outplay, now we're back to a small break, so please bear with us. We're trying to maintain the integrity of the tournament right here.
Ooh, this is going to be quite the marathon here, not just for us, but for these players as well.
Kind of intense, actually.
Yeah, literally, their stamina is being tested to its limit.
Why are they sweating all that?
I can't blame him, you know. Oh, like, can you imagine how it must feel to be in the position of those 10 players? Players up on stage.
Well, they are mentally merged with the game right now, so I think they are all nervous, not just Team Falcons. Even Team Nightmare seems to be a little bit nervous.
I think there's a big problem that a lot of people don't really recognize, I feel. Just in case some people are wondering, is the fact that in this kind of game, right, you're not moving and making things for the current moment. You're actually planning things out, setting it up for like 5 minutes in advance. So there's a lot of things that you have in your mind. And when you're trying to keep a technical difficulty like this, draining on the mental state, man. It takes up a lot of energy to try and make sure that you don't forget everything. when you get back into the game, because even if you forget a single thing, we've seen a lot of games go down to the wire, and something as simple as the minion wave where they meet, right, when they're towards the center of the map, that can really change the balance in one of the team's favor.
It's literally just those tiny micro mistakes. Right?
Yeah.
We've already seen so many lose their chances at victory just from a single moment of miscommunication, a single misplay, a single mispress. So being able to keep your mind in the game here will be the true test for these teams. And hopefully the support of the audience will be able to reach them up on stage right now, because you can definitely see the fatigue starting to set in, and I'm hoping that will not affect their gameplay as much as, well, we're worried that it might.
Well, I believe that they need all the support they can get, because
For sure.
both teams, not just like Kaka needs the support or Team Nightmare, they both need the support, and they both right now are like up to the challenge, the breaking point. It is the match point, and everything just stops here for a moment. Everything just stops here for 1 point to see how this will go in this group. It is a challenging group, and for the next game, thousands against the last team that is still in the group is SFG, if I'm not mistaken. So they are up for a really tough challenge.
On the screen right now, though, is Mero and DJY himself. If you guys watch clips on YouTube, you know that man. But I don't think not a lot of people really know what he looks like. So that's a sneak peek there to party content from F5.
Personally, a little bit curious how popular personalities like DJY are well known, like overseas. He's definitely quite popular here. He's from Malaysia, appearing more at events, but like for like other countries, like IDPKs, I'm actually not that sure. Like, how familiar are you guys with like Clippers and the such?
A lot of people in Indonesia are quite familiar with DJY because, in a way, right, the content is in English, but since it's short form content, it's clips. It's a lot easier for people with different language backgrounds to really digest content, you know? Because, like, even if you don't really know exactly what's being said or what's being shown on the screen, if there are any words, you can still appreciate the amount of the plays coming out.
True. That is indeed the case. I think for Yasu, it's your first time meeting him, right?
Yeah, I'm being here for the first time, and actually speaking of languages, I am really good at reading lips.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I got on camera right now, one of the fans here in the audience is saying and whispering, "Pass gun." You're like, just pass gun.
Gotcha. Man, they are really popular. I think to a surprising degree. I've said it before. I will say it again, man. It's kind of unreal to see a team from a different country get this warm of a reception.
Yeah, and also you can look at the audience, and I just wish that also everyone behind the screens can watch and see the audience. Also, Team Nightmare have a really good fan base. We have a lot, but it seems like we are heading into the last song.
Alright, we're back to it might like nothing dangerous yet for Team Falcon. They gotta be careful though about their aggression.
You gotta be careful, and also especially too easy for them. They need to be the most careful. His ult is already, but he couldn't see. Turns us down in 3 seconds. On the battle is still on tonight. And also Leo trying to steal, but there's nothing that comes back to Leo but to go back. Team Falcons go back, and the turtle goes for Team Nightmare.
That is extremely unfortunate, man. The kind of going into the head spin. It's gonna work out. I'm like a super.
Look at what spin is hitting. Too easy for Lexi. Is hitting people even inside and outside the bush.
Yeah, mistakes are definitely being made. Ooh, good night.
Wow.
Very aggro. Forcing out the black shoes at the very least. Picks off Lotrip 1v1 in the bot lane.
I think it's so much to the turret, right? Because it's a turret to kill. Looks like it.
Seems like it, but no Super's alone. He is not going to be engaged on down, but that might just lead to the turret getting equalized. Can Falcons go for a play?
Oh, they can't go for a play. So now he's trying to escape using his Purify. He manages to go back. He manages to go in the middle of his own team. Mid lane might be a threat, but guards need to be reorganized.
Was really out maneuvering Team Falcons across the map right now. There's a lot of pressure from this team because of the amount of burst damage they have. And when we look on the other side, Super, his iron hook has had a very successful hit rate. 53% is honestly very impressive, all things considered. And yet, Nightmare Esports still seems to be the ones in the lead.
In fact, I don't think Super has made a lot of crazy hooks just yet. So we'll have to see, man. The later the game goes, the more value that Iron Hook has. Being able to pull someone from the opposing team so much closer to your team, and even going for some steals like that. But Leo, is he going to be jumped on?
Nah,
the tower's
so
nearby.
hard.
I don't think so.
So hard.
It doesn't seem like it. That would be a bad angle. Jasmine's going to be taking some abuse here, but again, not a good angle for either of these teams to engage. They're definitely starting to slow things down somewhat, especially with the Lord coming up in another 10 seconds.
He's just fast.
He's looking for the hook. He's not going to be able to get it. This objective, though, is going to be pretty important. Right now, the structure count is even between these teams.
Oh, by the way, you want to raise the question of Cammy on the Brody right here. I was very, very vocal about him not performing really well on the 1-1, but on the Brody, he seems absolutely at home right here, finding a lot of ways to outplay the members of Team Captain. Against a comp like this, it's also very nice to have an extra bit of mobility and the range in order to stay safe from the time control. Juliana, though, has the Stallium sight, the true damage, but Falcon, they make the first move.
Well, will it be too easy for Lexus to take that Lord? Now we see that there's some suppression happening and also some ultimate being triggered everywhere in the land of Dawn. Leo tries and he manages to secure that Lord. He loses his life for it. And also the life of Midnight is being lost. Oh, the Black Shoes has been triggered and it's just like buying time. Is he buying time? Yeah, he is buying time. But time has just ran out. Tick-tock, the clock is running for Team Nightmare.
This is clearly not looking too good for Team Falcons. And
what was that, Jasmine? What was that? Super Jasmine is out. Jasmine is still alive. He manages to escape such an inevitable death.
Man, that is just a peak of potential. The amount of damage that Nightmare Esports can dish out is so insane right now. Team Falcons have the utility, but wait, they go for Juliana. They don't get it though. Man, they're all the tools to really force a Lord pick, and they get it. But at what cost, man? Losing 4 members like that? It's definitely not quite worth it. Especially get a team that can snowball like Nightmare Esports. We're still in the mid-game so far.
Yeah, but it does seem like the coordination for Team Falcons is unraveling a little bit. The communication coming from their players seems to be lacking, and the goals that they're attempting to achieve are being split up across the map. There's a sense of desperation to try and achieve these objectives, and they're committing a bit too far, disregarding their backline in the process. They gotta be able to overcome that.
Look at the jungle EXP though. Despite all the setbacks, too easy for Lexi is still at the same level as Leo. So every single Lord take from here, every single buff contest as well, is very competitive. I mean, earlier, Lexi was trying to take the purple buff away from Leo, but he's still able to get it secured. Now it's back to that slow build-up before the next big fight. And with more items, it does become a bit easier for Team Falcons to really come out ahead on these in these fights. But if they have resistances, they don't fall as fast. They have ways to really use their frontliners efficiently, so it doesn't become as urgent. There's not the same kind of urgency that they have in the early game against all the bursts coming in from the Joy, the Lilia, and the Brody.
Well, as I told you, it's going to be a little bit hard for Team Falcons to come back because this is something that they need to work on. Once they are pressured, they cannot deal and they cannot find their way out easily.
So you're saying that Team Falcons are actually a very momentum-based team here.
Yeah.
And if they fall behind, the space no longer creates itself for them.
Yeah, if you look at the items right here, with the Lightning Truncheon, I mean, Goodnight has a decent amount of damage already, but it's not continuous. So it still falls on the shoulders of Logic to really output the damage. And on that note, he has 4 items available. The last one could be a Wind of Nature, potentially, to try and outplay the Turnabout Memory. But he still needs some resistance to deal with the magic damage. Because So and Juliana, they're doing a lot of damage, and they can really get past the frontliners quite easily.
The thing is, if Logic goes for magic defense, Team Falcons already is lacking damage overall. So he's kind of in between a
the wheels spin. Look at here. Oh, suppress down, and Juliana goes down by the hands of Floater, but from far behind. Monster kill happens on Super. Leo's trying to find his way in. But it was too easy for Lexi to take that Lord Nightmare, or about
very well played there by Nightmare Esports, purposely delaying because they knew that Juliana had already been caught out to make sure that Leo would not have enough health to spin in and get the secure on the Lord. And honestly, he tried so hard to survive. His timing was all there. But with that Lord taken now, Team Falcons will have a tough defense.
There's a great approach against a team that can go for steals onto the back of utility, bait it out, wait for it to end, and then go. I think it's the second time Team Falcons have went for a ultimate phase play and not come out on top. They can siege right here, but against a Brody, it's dangerous. Let alone a Brody with a Sea Halberd that can do max HP damage to the Akai and the Franco as well as the Charisma.
Well, I think that the defense for Team Falcons isn't that hard because they have the bases, they have a good set of defensive heroes, but and also you said something really interesting, Arashi. You said that Franco's late game hooks are the most dynamic. Well, the longer the game goes,
the more there's a chance that one random hook, right? If it lands on the right person, it can completely turn the game around, despite the difference in gold. Unless, of course, Nightmare Esports play perfectly. And so far, there's no indication that they're going to fall off here. A 5k gold difference definitely isn't ideal. They should want more. And now they're going in for Leo.
They should get more, but also who should get more is Leo. Leo's going back, but the jump is so high on too easy for Lexi. Too easy for Lexi. Might die before that Lord, but who died before that Lord? Like before that team fight ends is super from the side of Team Falcons.
Yeah, that ambush from Nightmare Esports definitely caught them off guard. They checked the bush with Leo, which is probably the safest choice they have. But because the team was so far behind, they weren't ready to follow up.
He was charging, and he charges Team Falcons, but the penalty zone by whole scratches 3 of the members of Team Nightmare, but Team Nightmare comes on top. Team Nightmare now are showing Nightmare. It is the end. It is the end. It is the reverse sweep of the defense. It is the reverse sweep for Team Nightmare. Falcons team pulled down